Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Luxunvur's story. As we go on to your next day, do you think you would have slept well after what happened?
Probably not. Unless I was so exhausted I crashed, he would have had trouble sleeping, and in turn probably wouldn't have woken up on time.
Well, let's get a wisdom saving throw out of you first.
Hey, please roll. 19. I guess he's fine.
I mean, he still might have had troubled sleep, but he does manage to sleep through the night. With a 19, you don't wake up late. You probably wake up later than you normally do, but you don't wake up late for class. Do you run and grab yourself some breakfast first, or do you go straight to class?
Straight to class. If we wake up later, no breakfast.
Okay. One moment. Go ahead and click that long rest button, because apparently Levi has taken some damage.
Yeah, he did. He got a little fucked up. And it reset my HP.
All right. That, of course, it did. All right, hold on.
It's just plus 50, so I fixed it.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
As you enter the Ariakis Sanctuary, you find Kyo and Wash both already here. Kyo is stretching, and Wash is looking around at the classroom. Iriakis is over by the stone gates that he's usually near when you first enter every morning.
Good morning.
As you begin the daily practice of exercise, acrobatics, and sparring, there isn't much conversation to be had aside from going through the motions at first. The first few hours of your day are just spent going through the lessons that Iriakis has already taught you and practicing your forms. I'd like you to roll me an acrobatics check, please.
Of course.
No. Okay.
Oh, I wasted my only good roll.
You
Okay.
find yourself distracted. Perhaps understandably, perhaps not, but the beginning of your day is full of reprimands, uh, gentle swats as you mess up. It's a rough day so far. After a few
Uh,
hours, Ariakis stops in front of you and he says, "It is clear to me you are not mentally all here, Levi. How many times must I instruct you to clear your mind?"
Could only be one.
Well, do so.
Right.
Go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw.
20.
Okay, go ahead and roll acrobatics again at advantage.
Natural 20.
That is a natural 20.
Mhm.
You take a minute. What does it look like for Levi when he does clear his mind, when he does recenter himself?
He sits and he crosses his legs and he puts his hands in his lap, like he interlaces his fingers and just sets them down. And he just breathes slowly and with his eyes shut. And he does this until there's nothing left on his thoughts. Until all he can focus on is his breathing.
Roll me perception.
Nope.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Your dice today are telling a story.
Or
As you recenter yourself, stand up, and dive back into the trainings, you find it easier. You find
sorry,
it's coming.
2 seconds. I got
Okay.
shit. Sorry. We're like,
As
sorry
you
about that.
clear your mind, you find it easier to perform the physical activities that Ariakis demands of you. Much easier, in fact. As if you don't really know why you were slowed before, why you're having a hard time beforehand. It's simple. As you perform the exercises, and Ariakis nods, he looks to you and he says, "Have we had a conversation about Ki?"
I cannot say that we have.
Then it is time. And Ariakis gestures for you to follow him, and Kyo and Wash look on. Kyo looks surprised, and Wash looks confused.
Okay. I love it.
So, as you follow Ariakis, he leads you away from the original sanctuary, the open pool that you've used for training most days. And he begins to lead you out into more and more trees, but not towards the moss trees that he had you walk up. Instead, this is more southeast of that area, and it is open. You're still walking in water, but it is beautiful, and the sun's light is obvious here, even if you don't see the suns themselves. It's as though it's just more brightly lit here. As your spirit becomes more attuned with your body, with the world around you, you will unlock the energies of the world around you to use yourself. It has already begun. Ki is what we call this energy. As you focus, draw that energy from others, from yourself, and from the very world of Amaranth itself. You'll become more attuned to it, more accustomed to its use, and you will discover more ways it can be used. And as he says that, he spends a key point, and he leaps an impossibly far distance up onto the nearby tree, and then sticks to it, like a spider might. This is within your grasp, Levi.
Huh. He's gonna try to jump to a tree like it.
Roll me a wisdom check. Just straight wisdom.
Great wisdom. 14.
You try. With a wisdom check of a 14, you realize it is not physically possible for a person, through mundane means, to jump 30 feet up onto a tree. It's just not a thing a regular person can do. And despite the fact that your true nature is hidden, you are aware that your human form is still not able to leap 30 feet straight up onto a tree.
Right.
But with a 14 wisdom check, you are also aware that you've done a lot of things lately that a normal person could not do. And as you try and focus that feeling, the feeling of when you were walking sideways up a moss-covered tree, or were sticking to the slick surface of those stone pillars through balance alone, you channel that feeling, and you leap. Roll me acrobatics.
God damn it. 9. My dice do not like me.
That's okay. It kind of illustrates this whole learning experience.
It does.
It's kind of funny. As you spring forward, you are alarmed at the amount of height that you suddenly are gaining. You didn't expect it to really work your first try. You didn't expect to feel that energy surge through you and press into the water at your feet. And you suddenly find yourself flying up toward Ariakis, if a little bit off, and you fail to get your feet up underneath you to hit the tree. And you bounce off of it with your shoulder and right-hand side. And it doesn't hurt, but you find yourself falling back down toward the water unceremoniously. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Dex save. Oof, nope.
Perhaps still caught by surprise by the sudden leap, you find yourself looking up toward Ariakis as your feet are falling up behind you, and you land shoulders first in the water, splashing down deep into the depths, maybe reaching down 10 feet, which is... Now you are submerged.
He's just gonna lay in the water for a second. He's just gonna sit there like exhale and then go up and pull himself out of the water.
Okay. Ariakis stands sideways looking down at you and he says, "That was much better than I thought it would be, your first attempt."
Me too.
Again.
We go again.
Okay. I'd like you to roll me an acrobatics.
Oh, much better.
Oh, yeah, the DC was 15. Now, I'd like you to roll me another wisdom check.
Just straight wisdom?
Uh-huh.
Actually,
no. This is wisdom with proficiency, so add 2 to this. 11. Okay. Yeah. This time, you leap, and you're aware of how high you're going to leap. But the tree is coming toward you very quickly. You manage to swing your feet up so that you do hit the tree with just the balls of your feet. But you forget the next step. And as your feet slam into the tree, they slip off as the slick moss just... You can feel it as if you almost managed to stick yourself to it. But they slip off with a... And now you are tumbling away from the tree. Roll me another dexterity saving throw. Basically, don't roll a 1. Okay. With a 22, you land much more gracefully this time, landing feet down in the water, only sinking maybe 5 feet.
Hey.
We're gonna keep doing this until you can either get it or until you net 1.
There, all right, more acrobatics. Woo.
Yes, roll me acrobatics.
That's a 2.
Okay. Dex save.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm making a note as to how many failures.
3.
Okay. It's not a nat 1, so you don't hurt yourself. Again, acrobatics.
Game, please.
DC's 15.
3.
That ain't gonna do it. Okay. Roll me a dex save and then a con save.
Oh boy, dex save. 9.
Okay, roll me a con save.
Con save. 10.
10. Okay. This is tiring work. You're not exhausted. But it is wearing you out quickly. Roll me another acrobatics.
God damn it. Okay, 22.
Successful. Roll me a wisdom plus proficiency check.
Okay. So, wisdom plus proficiency, that'll be my perception. That's what we'll roll.
Sure.
17.
Successful.
Oh, thank God.
After 5 tries, of tiring, leaping from the water, bouncing off the tree, and crashing into the waters below. On the 5th try, you fly up toward the tree. You have the angle of it right this time. Your feet are coming toward it, and you time it perfectly. As soon as your feet touch the tree, you center yourself. You let that energy flow through the heels of your feet, and you are stuck to the tree, looking at Ariakis, who's about 2 feet above you and to the left. Ariakis smiles at you and he says, "Very good.
Thank you.
You progress quickly. The nature of ki is not one easily grasped, but that energy you feel binding you to the tree, that is your ki. Every living thing in this world has ki flowing through it. It is not unlike what the wizards call the weave. Only our ki is how we interact with the weave. Do you understand?"
Sort of.
I didn't hear you.
I said sort of.
Ariakis nods and begins to walk around the trunk of the tree. Around its circumference. A wizard practices the gestures and words that allows them to interact with the weave. A bard learns the songs and performances that will make the weave do what they wish. And a sorcerer allows their own heritage and natural inclination with the magic of the world around them to make it do what it is that they will. We use our training and spirit to allow our bodies to interact with the weave in our own way.
That makes a lot more sense.
As he's like walking in the circumference around the tree, he's walking down toward the trunk. And then he steps out and he says, "Your next lesson." And he looks down at his own feet as he is standing on the surface of the water. Do it.
Right. So he'll think about the energy he felt pushing himself up, and he'll kind of just try to have that in between his feet and the water, like just still and not forceful.
Roll me a wisdom check.
Straight wisdom?
Yeah, as you try and focus on this feeling that is so hard to grasp. It's like trying to catch fireflies in open hands.
Fuck, I watched it fall from a 20 to a 14.
A 14 is... it's almost there. You lift your foot up and you focus on that feeling, and you feel resistance. You feel that energy press against the balls of your feet as the water doesn't want to give way. And for a moment, it feels as though you could stand on the surface of the water. But you lose it. You feel that strange sensation slip as if you've forgotten it, and it's your foot passes through the surface of the water. You were so close. Ariakis folds his arms and he says, "Relax. Focus. Water is not as forgiving as a tree."
He'll take a deep breath in, and this time he'll try to focus less on standing on the water, but more just standing.
Okay. Roll a wisdom check.
Nope. Worse.
Roll me a con save.
I...
You've done a lot already today, so...
Yeah, 12.
12. The DC was higher. Previously, the DC was 10, and this time the DC was 12. So both times you've met the DC.
Okay.
So you are not exhausted, but you feel the mental drain. It's almost like the beginnings of a tension headache at the base of your neck. as you're trying to focus on these feelings. It's more emotional than it is a concept, and it's so hard to remember these sensations. But Iriakis encouragingly nods, and he says, I see you have the right thought of it. You are nearly there. Again.
I'll go again.
Wisdom check.
God damn it, it's worse and
The
worse.
dice
It's an
say
8.
no. This time, the frustration of being close and losing the sensation prevents you from even really trying to remember the sensation. You get impatient about it. And as you step off the trunk, your foot immediately, as if there was no resistance at all, and you nearly fall all the way into the water. And Iriaka snaps at you and he says, Patience! Relax. We will be here all day.
Right. Frustration. He's just gonna sit down and meditate for a minute. Because just going like this is gonna take him nowhere. So he's just gonna meditate for a solid 10 minutes.
Okay, you clear your mind once more. Roll me a wisdom save.
13.
You feel that aggression leave you. You feel the annoyance at your, not failure, but failure to do the proper technique is gone. You feel almost that tension leave your shoulders, and the meditation seems to have served its purpose.
Okay.
Do you try again?
Try again.
Roll me a wisdom check, this time at advantage from your meditation.
Good thing I had advantage. It was a nat 1 otherwise.
So 14. You're so close. You feel it almost working.
Oh.
But it's a step in the right direction, and Iriakis nods approvingly. And he says, That is the right of it. Concentrate, but stay relaxed. Allow your soul to ask the water to help you. Don't try to force it. Try again?
Yeah. Try again. 16.
You stand atop the water.
Fuck.
It is hard to trust it with your balance, but it feels as though you were standing on a wood floor.
He tries not to get excited. He tries to just stay calm.
For the first time since you have really begun to work with Iriakis, he gives you a genuine smile, and he pats you on the shoulder, and he says, You have it.
I gotta roll a wisdom save to make sure I keep it after that.
Okay.
12 is the DC. Oh, yeah, well, it's fine. 24. He keeps his composure.
Now, as you grow, you will find your reserves of energy much deeper than they are now. You will be able to perform much more vast tricks and techniques than walking up a tree or standing on water. I also do not recommend attempting to perform such things in the heat of adrenaline and combat. At least, not until you have that experience. But then Iriakis presses a fist to his palm, and he bows his head to you. And he says, You have learned the way of Ki, and now you simply must train it. And you've reached level 2.
Right. Okay. Wonderful.
If you want to level up right now, you can go ahead and do
Oh,
that.
well, you leveled me up at the end of last session. And then said
Yeah,
we'd go over at this
I
session.
made the note. Yes, that's why I was doing this. I remember now.
All good, all good. So yeah, all that's already taken care of.
Right. But you do now have key points.
Sure do.
Okay. So, now that Luxunvur knows how key works, you and Ariakis head back toward the others.
And he's just gonna walk on water all the time. He's just gonna practice every second he's in here.
Okay. Then you're going to need to roll me a wisdom plus proficiency check.
Sure.
Because the DC is 16 to stand on water. But you do get to add your proficiency now.
20.
Yeah. Successful. As you are heading back, Wash and Kyo, who have been sparring, notice that you are standing on the water. And in Aquan, Wash says, "How long have you been able to do that?"
And in Aquan, I'll reply, about an hour.
"Oh, you must teach me."
We'll see.
Kyo, who sees you standing in water, roll me an insight check.
Okay, sure. And, nope.
A 9. He's unreadable. He looks neutral as he looks at you. But
Probably.
when you're approaching, he does the same sort of bow that Ariakis gave you, where he presses a fist into a palm and tips his head to you.
I return the bow.
The rest of your class is spent sparring with Kyo, with Wash, and under the careful guidance of Ariakis as you go through forms. And I need a con save. You are already tired. The mental exhaustion of mastering your key it was a huge drain on you.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
You certainly are. You gain 1 point of exhaustion, and you find yourself slow reacting to Kyo and Wash's sparring, and you end up taking a little bit of a beating, but it is in good nature. You don't really take any damage because it's all...
Yeah, that's fine.
But at the end of the class, it comes to about 5 in the evening that Ariakis stops the sparring and the practices, and he says, "All of you are dismissed. However, I need you 3 to consider who is up for a new free agency on the morrow. We have received a task from the god of Ferrum, and Levi, you have their sincerest apologies."
They're forgiven.
Ariakis nods, and then turns and begins to head toward his own little haven behind the gates. Wash looks at you, and she says, why do they apologize? What's going on? In Aquan. And Kyo says, like, between the two of you, and he says, "I don't speak bubbles, alright? I'll see you all later." And Kyo...
Wait, you know, we can teach you so-called bubbles.
What is it then?
It's called Aquan.
That's what you've been speaking this whole time.
Right.
Okay. It would be real convenient to know what it is you two have been saying, because I've been listening to it this whole time. I can't make heads or tails of it. I just assumed you were making fun of me, or making fun of Ariakis, or something.
No, it's just a lot easier for her to speak in Aquan than it is in Common. We haven't made fun of anyone. It's just the normal conversations one would have.
As you say that, behind him, Wash says, "Yes, I'm sorry." And Kyo looks a little bit ashamed that he assumed that and says, "Okay, yeah, if you wouldn't mind trying to maybe give me the basics."
Yeah, don't mind trying to teach you.
First, can we go get a drink?
Yeah, I'm tired and hungry and would love that.
All right. And you head out. So are you going to the Merry Guard? Or are you going to the mess hall? Or are you going to the ship stool? What's the plan?
Oh, shit. Hmm.
Or do you try and find a restaurant or cafeteria somewhere else in Ferrum?
Where did I meet Sabratha at? Was
The
that,
Merry Guard.
let's go to the Merryguard.
Okay. You head out of Ariakis' classroom, out. Well, he's not here. Out through the Merry Guard proper. As you do, roll me a d12.
No, we're there.
Around 5 o'clock is when most classes do let out. But with a 4, you don't happen to run into anyone on your way out of the main doors of the Merry Guard Academy.
Oh.
As you head toward the Merry Guard, let me pull that up. And I will activate it.
No, we were at the ship stool when we met Sabratha. I remember now. Because the random concoction of the night is what we ended up getting.
Oh.
Still
Well,
go to the Merryguard.
okay. My mistake.
All good.
As you head to the Merry Guard, it is very busy as meals are being served up, and there are open tables, but there are also many full ones. Immediately as you enter, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
This is a disadvantage, yeah? Because exhaustion.
You are exhausted, yes.
Beautiful. Still a 16.
Not bad. Okay. There are so many people in here. At various different tables, you do recognize some of the other students of the Merry Guard Academy. Some of them you are well acquainted with. Across the bar from you, on the far side, you do happen to see the Bard student, Nore, who is having a drink and conversation with someone you don't recognize, a little halfling. Immediately to your left, you do see the loud and boisterous dwarven cleric, Sagona. And she looks up at you as you enter, and she just kind of waves and then goes back to drinking. Across from her is a tall half-orc, very brawny individual. One, I don't know if you've met Anscombe or not.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, a big old boisterous, brawny half-orc who seems to have an easy smile on his face. Other than that, the tavern is full of all sorts of people. Do you try and find an empty table, or do you try and join people you already know?
I look back and see what my two compatriots are looking like.
Wash is trying to talk to Kyo right next to you. And Kyo, it's clear he understands now what you meant by difficulty with common, because Wash says, "I could drink the cup." And Kyo says, I don't think that's quite right.
I'll cut in and save him. Like, we want a table by ourselves, or anyone you know?
Kyo looks at you and says, "Oh, it's up to you. Right. I wouldn't mind meeting new people."
We'll start by ourselves tonight, and I'll go find a table for just us.
Okay, so the three of you find a table. Roll me a d4.
A D4. 3.
Okay. A blue-skinned tiefling, one that you've seen around here before, approaches and says, "Welcome to the Merry Guard, where it is your duty to be merry. How can I help you?"
Just a table for 3.
Any drinks or food?
Bring me whatever's on tap.
All right. He leaves, and as you sit down at a round table, you do notice it doesn't take long before there is a performance that begins to happen on the stage. A human or half-elf, you're not really sure. You've seen her before, you know her well. The bard teacher stands up on the stage and says, "I'm Tally Soothsinger, and you'll like this or go fuck yourselves!" And then she begins to play.
Yep, that's on par for her.
Yeah, and she begins to play music. And it is upbeat and fast-paced. Meanwhile, at your table, Kyo and Wash are both... They're still trying to talk, and every once in a while, Wash looks over at you, and then Aquan, she says, like, "Could you tell him I'm really thirsty, please?"
I just laugh a bit and I go, yeah. She's thirsty, Kyo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. She could drink oh, I see how it would... Alright, okay. And it is convenient that at that moment, the waiter brings 3 mugs of what looks like a dark ale that's been set in front of you.
And Aquan, I will say to Wash, now drink it slowly.
She looks at you and she says, "Okay. Are you... But last time it was so much fun. I think."
Right. If you don't just drink it slowly, you'll see. It slowly gets up to that point and you feel better.
Roll your persuasion.
Okie dokie. These have been going great so far. 21. Okay.
There it is. That's a decent roll. She looks at you with a raised eyebrow but nods, and she picks up the mug and she sips it. And you, like, the taste of beer to one who is not super familiar with beer. She kind of wrinkles her face a little and she says, "Oh.
Yeah, you get used to it, don't worry." And he just takes a sip of his.
In common, she says to Kyo, "I won't drink this whole cup." And Kyo says, "You don't have to. You can drink as much as you like."
She means that she's not gonna end up like last time.
Oh, that's good. Last time
yeah.
she was 3 sheets to the wind.
Right. So, you want to learn Aquan then?
I do. It would be helpful, at least, especially, like, if we keep going on these sparring missions with Iriakis, I think it would be best if I knew what everything Wash was saying, right?
Right. That's
at least had
fair.
a clue.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind teaching you a little bit after class every day.
I appreciate that.
I'm not the best teacher, so you'll have to bear with me.
Well, how do I say, like, hello?
I will tell him how to say hello.
He says it. It's not great. It's close. The accent's... It's clear. It's you know...
Right.
And the accent's wrong. But Wash smiles at him, and she replies, "Hello," in Aquan. And Kyo seems to... It's like trying to form your mouth around a word that's in, like, a completely different... Like in Cyrillic. He says, "All right. Okay. Thanks." And he says to you,
I'll tell him how to say thanks.
he says it. And Wash, without really thinking, in Aquan says, "Well, for what?" And he says, "Okay.
No, and Aquan, I'll tell Wash. No, I was just telling him how to say thank you because he thanked me for telling him how to say hello.
Oh, I wasn't listening. I was trying to... Okay.
It's fine.
So you spend, like, a good 30 minutes talking about Aquan, and then the waiter comes by and drops a menu. in front of you, which does not appear to be in this... Dude, come on. Oh, here it is. Okay. Hold on a second.
I have the Maryguard foods already, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to show you.
Yep, I already have that, so that's probably why it's not popping up.
Okay. He says, any real food for you three?
Yeah, I'll take the blackened steak.
Next to you, Wash says in common, I'd like this one. And she points at the pork soup. And Kyo orders himself the same thing as you. The waiter nods and leaves. As food is cooked, you have the experience of being at a tavern when suddenly a group of adventurers suddenly boisterously and loudly announce that they are going to have a drinking contest, and any wet-backed Maryguard students who dare try and challenge them had best bring their best or be crushed under the table. Immediately, Sagona and the half-orc companion stand up, their chairs being thrown back, and you hear Sagona from across the bar say, "Say that to my face, you bloody bastards!" And then the half-orc next to her says, like, "Hey, what?" and, like, trying to calm her the fuck down. Do you do anything to interact with this, or do you let that happen?
I'll lean into Kyo and I'll go, it should be a fun show. And I'll turn around and watch.
He nods, and he watches as well. I'm going to roll some dice. As we are all aware, dwarves are resistant to poison, and that includes alcohol.
Yep.
And the half-orc does not seem like a small individual either.
Nope. If I had better constitution, I would go.
That's fair. Okay, I think I've rolled... That's that. One more. Okay. So this pair of adventurers, they are wearing medium armor. One of them has a longbow strapped across their back, and the other one seems to be unarmed. But they're both wearing chainmail and metal plates, as if they've definitely seen some combat. Their armor is a little bit weathered and rusted in places. They seem to be seasoned and road-traveled. Sagona and Anscombe, a.k.a. the giant half-orc individual, are both wearing Maryguard Academy regalia. So Sagona's wearing her half-plate, and it has a very large symbol of the Maryguard on it. And the half-orc is basically wearing splint mail, which is very heavy armor. The two of them sit across from the adventurers, and you watch as your food is served in front of you. As over the next 10 minutes, Sagona and this half-orc drink these two adventurers under the table. The whole time, Sagona's shouting obscenities at them. Like, you dare come to our tavern with our pun over the door, and you dare assume you stand a chance against us. And the adventurers are saying they're from Augur City, and they've never seen such foolhardy, reckless individuals as these two. At one point, one of the adventurers challenges Anscombe to an arm wrestle, who the half-orc originally was declining, but Sagona basically screamed at him, "You will wrestle him, and you'll do it right now, or I swear to God, I will tell the entire fighter class about this." And the half-orc just puts his hands up and says, all right. And then he does absolutely crush the arm wrestle because he's a very strong individual.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But your food is served, and next to you, you see Wash is like leaning over the chair, also watching, and she says, "Is this normal around here?"
First time I've seen it. Kyo, thoughts?
Well,
oh, wait. In common. Sorry, you can't. Is this normal?
Maybe maybe at least once a month, I'd guess. I mean, you know Sagona, right? Like,
Yeah.
she'll drink with anyone if she can.
Well, I had a free agency with her, and she was definitely something else.
Yeah, big personality, that one.
I think all she wants to do is fight.
I think you're right. And he, like, takes a bite of his blackened steak and he says, "Oh, no, this is delicious.
Indeed.
Good pick." Wash looks down at her own soup, which it's the sort of soup that has a very thick broth, almost a chowder. And you can see very well crisped and seasoned pork floating around in the broth along with potatoes and a number of other vegetables. And she says, "This smells..." In Aquan, she says, "This smells very salty."
It's probably a little salty. Just take a bite.
She does, and her eyes light up, and she says, "Oh, okay." In common, she looks at Kyo and says, "I like this so much." And Kyo says, "Oh, good." See, that wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
that was good.
There is some mumbled agreement that managed to get the common out right. As you eat your Marigard meals, let me roll to see how well. Okay. Yeah, you all gain 11 temporary hit points.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. Now, it is a paid meal, and all the while, Tally Soothsinger is singing music to the entire tavern, and you can tell that she's begun to get a lot of tips as the small stovepipe hat that she sets out in front of her has kind of squished over to the side as silver is pouring over its edges. As you all are enjoying your meals, there is a scoot of a chair, and Nore sits with you.
Well, I'll be.
It's been a while since I've seen you around.
I could say the same thing.
You look beat to hell.
Oh, Ariakis is a monster sometimes.
I have heard a lot of monks quit. Are you looking at the door?
To go to sleep, maybe. Ain't going anywhere.
She looks to the other two students and she smiles and she says, "I'm Nore." And Wash in Aquan says, "You can say Wash." And Kyo says, "She means you can call her Wash." And I'm Kyo. I admit I haven't seen many of the monk students about. Y'all just kind of keep to yourselves, huh?
This one here, and I'll point to Kyo, and I go, I think he likes to hang out at the docks. Over in that area.
And Kyo just kind of sheepishly nods and says, I like to run the ropes. It reminds me of home." And Nore says, You like to... You mean you just run around on the...
I think that's what he means, yeah.
Weird. All right.
The very first day I got here, Ariakis had me go find him. And there he was, running along these ropes across the docks.
Oh, to each their own, I guess.
And Wash here, she's a brand new student.
Oh, is that right? And Nore, like, smirks, and you can see she has a little bit too toothy of a grin.
Oh no. Insight check.
Okay. Yeah. Roll insight.
I hate that.
You are exhausted.
Okay, let me roll again because I forgot. 12.
Nore's hard to read, but you imagine it's probably nefarious.
Before she even starts, I'll go, she also can't really speak common too well, so I wouldn't waste your time.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
What languages do you speak? And Wash, in Aquan, she replies, I can speak Aquan, or Primordial. Celestial. I'm trying to
I
learn...
look at her.
What?
Celestial?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm trying to learn Common, obviously. I'm not very good at it yet.
Well.
And next to you, Nore says, okay, what language is that? Because it clearly wasn't.
Oh, she speaks Aquan and Celestial. Primordial as well.
Celestial.
That's what I said.
And then, do you speak Celestial?
Fuck no.
Okay. And suddenly, Nore says something to Wash in Celestial, which is extremely melodic and harmonic sounding. It almost sounds like a theme from like a choir. And Wash, her face lights up a little bit, and she replies in Celestial.
I look to Kyo and I go, I understand now.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Nore says something else in Celestial, and Wash begins to laugh.
Yep, I definitely understand now.
Kyo takes a long drink.
Same. Long drink.
Then Kyo sets the drink down and he says, so, Ariakis said that the guards apologized to you.
Oh, yeah, right.
And there's a free agency tomorrow that we have to talk about, right? So, what happened?
One of the guards or whoever accompanied me on the free agency was a very corrupt man. Very terrible person.
What you mean? How could you tell?
Well, when he put a blade in a man's who was tied down and couldn't move, and who had surrendered the fight already, that kind of gave it away.
Oh.
Yeah. I tried to stop him. I was a bit too late, and the man died.
I've never... Okay.
Yeah, so they apologized to me that happened. But still weighs on me.
Yeah, I can't blame you. And having stopped having their Celestial conversation, Nore next to you says, see, that's why where I'm from, we don't trust people in power. It gets to their head.
Where I'm from, there is no power. Well, that's not true. Where I'm from, the only people in power are my family. So, I kind of understand that too.
And I don't want to ask about your family, Nore says, and she, looks at you. You see that her face is very guarded, and she says, but if they were so powerful, why are you here? You had that in your hands, didn't you?
I want what's handed to me by them, what they take and what they want. What kind of life is that?
An easy one.
Not what I decided. Not what I wanted. I left. And besides, you folk here are much better company than any of them ever could be.
Yeah. And that was Wash. It seems like she's just trying to be a part of the conversation. Nore says, okay. If you didn't want their power, though, and you came here to learn how to fight with your hands...
Well,
I
the
imagine...
fighting with the hands is a bonus.
Oh.
The real reason for the monk following the path is the power to control your mind and take everything you know and follow it and put it in a path and just have the will over yourself. one thing my parents didn't have. The self-control or wisdom.
Your parents sound like the old sort of berserkers we would have had back home.
Might have been.
But they held the power.
Unfortunately so.
I think I see why you want it out.
I'm glad someone does.
Wash has been trying to follow the conversation, and after a long pause, she just says, "What?"
I will tell her all of that in Aquan.
As she listens, at first she seems grateful that you're willing to spell it out for her, and then at the end of it, she says, "Well, I'm glad that you're here now."
I give her a smile. Me too. Said in Aquan.
Nore looks at Kyo, and you hear her say, "Yeah, so that's what that feels like." And Kyo says, "Yep." And they both take a drink.
I love it. Fucking great. Oh.
Now, your day here could just proceed with you hanging out with these individuals and then going back to your room, and we can proceed as normal, unless you have other plans.
Well, we still have to talk about this free agency on who's taking it tomorrow.
Okay. So, Kyo has asked about it, and he says, "So about this task, if they apologize to you, I imagine it's probably something to do with the guard again."
Yeah. Does that mean I should take it? And I'll ask Wash and Aquan if you had a free agency yet.
She shakes her head.
Right. Maybe you or I should take it. I don't think she should take the guards for a first free agency.
Kyo nods, and he says,
If you don't want to take it, that's fine. I don't mind taking it.
well, one of us has to. I admit, I'm a little jealous.
Of what?
Well, I started here before you, and you've already figured out how to walk on water. So I want to catch up. I'd rather stay in the sanctuary and try and focus on my training.
I'm sorry. I hope I don't come across as, I guess, arrogant in a sense. I definitely
No, you
didn't
haven't.
even.
I was jealous because I've been here longer than you, but I've had a hard time wrapping my head around the... He, taps his temples. I can't really concentrate very well sometimes.
I see. Sure, yeah, I could take the free agency tomorrow. That's fine. You know what always helps me concentrate? Is when you try not to concentrate. Just sit and close your eyes and just relax. Think about everything until there's nothing left to think about.
I wish it was that easy.
It's not. It's really not.
Especially when there's a bloody voice in my head.
What does that mean?
I'm an ASMR.
I don't know if Levi would know what that is.
Go ahead and roll a history at disadvantage.
Man.
It makes sense if he doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a natural 20 and then a 7.
Okay. So when you still see Mystified, Keel has this full body. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna level with you. I have no clue what that is.
Well,
We can we could talk about that later. It's not that
It's
important.
fine. It's fine. I just okay. So at some point, my family had maybe an agreement or a blessing from Melisandre. Do you know who that is?
The
Roll a religion.
15.
You've heard the name Melisandre in primarily the context of like blessings upon you, and you're pretty sure that's a goddess.
Goddess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddess of new beginnings and stuff. Oh, good luck and, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm an Asimar, which means that I'm basically just a person like anybody else. But there's a celestial being, as they're called, who sends me messages all the time and tries to get me to do things.
Wait, does
In
that mean you can speak Celestial?
Not really. I was
No.
supposed to speak it, but I never learned it because I didn't have a mind for it.
Understandable.
It's one of my many disappointments. Look, the point is, there's a lady who talks in my head telling me what I should be doing, and it's very annoying. And sometimes it destroys my concentration.
I see. That sounds terrible.
Sometimes she's quiet, and I'm grateful for those moments. But, for example, right now she's telling me that I saw someone homeless outside who I should give them some coin.
Oh. Can you tell her to, like, be quiet? Like...
I can ask her to, and sometimes she listens, but usually not.
Oh. Huh.
He shrugs and takes another drink.
Oh. Right. Right.
So anyway, you're going to handle that free agency, right?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
I appreciate that. That'll give me some time maybe to get some real training done. And maybe I can ask Ariakis about how to quell the Deva in my head.
He seems very knowledgeable about most things.
He certainly does.
He even knew about Myriad. That was fun.
Who?
Myriad?
Hold on, I've got to roll for Kyo. I can't say I've heard that name.
Something about I don't remember exactly, but he watches over the temporal plane and many others to make sure people don't get lost in time.
Huh. No, never heard of
Yeah,
it.
I've met him twice, actually.
You've met him.
Yeah, and Ariakis' place, actually. He,
Kyo
showed
looks
me...
mystified.
Yeah. You know what Ariakis' classroom is, right? Where it's at?
No, I just assumed it was part of our Bara or something.
Alright then, I will leave that for you to find out. Didn't realize, and he just thinks to himself, like, why did I get to go on that mission?
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably get back to my room. I'm gonna get up early for this free agency.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna finish my drink. And you realize that this whole time, Wash and Nore have been having their own conversation in Celestial.
Oh, I hate it.
So when you say that you're leaving, Nore suddenly says, "Oh, all right. I'll see you maybe next time, huh?"
Well, I know where your classroom is, but the last time I went there, you weren't there.
I've been on a lot of free agencies lately.
Right. So you know. Real quick, do our dorms have numbers or anything on them?
Nope.
Oh, oh shit.
They're usually next to your class.
You know where our dorms are, don't you?
I'm sure I can find them.
Oh well, you know where I'm at then.
All
I'll
right.
give her a wink and head out.
Okay. As you head out, where are you going?
Back to my dorm to go the fuck to sleep. I am tired.
Okay. As you head back to the Marigard Academy to lay down and get some rest, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I don't like that. Why, Echo?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Natural 20 for a 27.
Oh, don't worry about it. You go
Wait,
to
no!
sleep.
No!
You go to sleep comfortably. The day's pains and aches are washed away by the rest. It looks as though your foundry is stuck on the Ferrum map.
Yep, I am on the Ferrum map.
Hang on. Let me see if I can get you. There we go. Okay. The next day, you awaken right on time, with plenty of time left to get yourself something to eat and get to class.
Okay, yeah,
Do you do so?
I do.
Okay. As you go to breakfast, unfortunately, I do not believe. Yeah, breakfast is good. It seems like breakfast today is pancakes and eggs and sausage. And while it is tasty, it does not compete with the 11 temp that you got from the Merry Guard yesterday. So you keep the 11, and as you head to class, that's not the right sanctuary. You're not a druid. Okay, here we go.
You don't know that.
I do.
Shit.
As you and Kyo and Wash all enter Ariakis' sanctuary, Ariakis stands in front of you three, and he says, "Good morning.
Morning.
It is time to decide. I asked you all yesterday about your free agency that would be happening today. Which of you is volunteering to take it?"
That would be me.
Very good. I recommend, from what I hear, this will require a strong investigative eye. So, I recommend you stop by Persh on your way out and collect a companion, one who can investigate things thoroughly.
Right. I will do. And I'll give him a bow.
Ariakis bows to you.
Head out.
Okay. You head out.
Straight to Persh.
Okay, Persh is at his front desk where he usually is. Eyes down over some parchment and writing. As you're approaching, he says, "Good morning, Levi.
Morning.
How can I help you?"
I was told to get some help for my free agency today.
Right. What sort of help are you looking for?
Someone who's very good at investigating.
All right.
Maybe someone from, I think, the rogue class is pretty good at that.
Let me see. Let me see who's available. Roll me a D10.
Six.
Roll me a D4. And roll me another D4. All right. So, have you worked with Skolda?
I have not, but I know who she is.
She is free today. We can call her down.
It sounds like a good plan to me.
Alright, one moment. He picks up a sending stone from the blue sending box by his desk. Maxwell, I have a free agency. We require Mikex. Thank you kindly. And he sets the stone down and he says, she'll be up in just a few moments.
I tried to hide.
Okay. Roll stealth. So the main hall is, it's a large room with the counter that Persh sets behind in the middle. And both sides of the room are benches, and above those benches are portraits of all the instructors. Where do you hide? Do you just try to find a convenient shadow, or do you try and get behind something?
A convenient shadow, I
Okay.
suppose.
With a 21. I need you to roll me a perception.
Oh God, this again. 18.
Okay. Hold on. Your stealth was a 21, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. From your corner, you're in the shadows and you're looking toward the front desk of Persh. You feel secure in the fact that there are no windows immediately near you. You feel as though you are well hidden in the darkness. Or at least you felt that way until there's a tap on your shoulder, and against the wall next to you, Skolna's leaning, and she says, "Hey."
Damn it. Again. One of these days.
Her purple eyes kind of twinkle with mischief, but she's not smiling or anything, she's just looking at you. And she shrugs.
Right. And I go up to Persh now. I'm like, so what is today's free agency? I wasn't actually told.
Right. So the two of you, he glances up at Skolna, who is kind of toddling up on the balls of her toes and then back down, as if she's, impatient.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me an insight check.
Yeah. 20.
Hold on. Skolna's hard to read. She seems impatient.
God damn it.
As that's how it goes, man. She rolled better. Persh says, there have been instances of theft. You know where the Jordan farmstead is?
Is that the one I went through last time?
No.
Nope. Can't say I do.
It's far west, out by the artisan gates. It's what supplies most of the bakers here in Ferrum. They grind and mill all the wheat that they grow out on quite a few acres of farmland. Unfortunately, they've been dealing with quite a lot of theft lately. There's a lot of their flours being taken. So much so that they're finding it impossible to reach ends meet. Now, the guards have apprehended a well-known thief. Roll me a history check.
History.
Yeah.
15.
15. Are you proficient in history?
No.
Okay. This thief has been well reputed around town. His name's Galen Halftooth. I don't know if that's his real name or if that's just his given one, but he's been known as a thief around the town. And with that history check, you have heard the name Galen come up as someone who could be hired to acquire things.
Hmm.
Now he's apprehended. However, he has been insisting that he's innocent. And he actually does have a decent alibi. So, the guard has asked that you two investigate the farm and see if you can find any signs of foul play. And if that fails, maybe go have a chat with the thief himself.
Right. Okay. This sounds like we can do that.
Skolna nods. Right. The Jordan Farmstead, you'll head out the Artisan Gate, and you'll be heading maybe about half a mile down past the road. It'll be on your left.
Right. Okay. Thank you, March. We'll be on our way.
Very good.
We leave.
Okay. As you head out, and Skolna's next to you. One moment.
As we hit the streets, I'm gonna talk to her before we head on the way.
Okay. What do you say?
You seem a bit more rushed today than normal. You alright?
She, tilts her head and looks at you.
And you just seem... versus the lunchroom when you're eating, versus when you were waiting for Persh to tell us what to do, you just seem impatient, in a hurry.
She smiles.
Alright then.
Roll me a persuasion check. I know you're real good at that.
Yeah, the best at that. 8.
You ask her, and she's smiling at you, but she taps her nose, and then holds her hands out open.
Taps her nose and holds her hands out open?
Yeah. You can roll an insight check to try and determine what she's saying.
Yeah, okay. Insight. A 9. Oh, not a fucking clue. You want gold? Is that what you want?
She smirks and shakes her head, and then shrugs and nods a little, but shakes her head again.
You're very mysterious, you know that?
She nods.
I like you.
With a half smirk, she says, I haven't decided yet about you.
Well, there's time for that still. Shall we head on then?
She, gently puts her fingertips hooked into your shoulder to turn you back toward her, and she, reaches her hand out as if to put something in your hand.
I'll open my hand for her.
She places one of the darts that she lifted off of your belt in your hand.
I check my entire person to make sure nothing else is missing.
You're not missing anything else.
Fair play, fair play.
She shrugs.
Oh, right. I just kind of side-eye her, and I'm like, I'm watching you.
You can try.
And they'll head off towards the farmstead.
Okay, I need you to roll me a d8.
Dude, am I gonna get an encounter this time? There's been
I don't
nothing
know.
for the past 6 weeks. Nope.
Would you like one?
No, I'm just the dice rolls.
I mean, we can say that's a 4 if you want one.
Nah, not this time.
Okay. As you make your way through the town, it is actually far enough to the Rain Road, to the Artisan Gate, that there is 2 chances for encounters as you head down the main road toward the market and then up through the Artisan Quarter. So go ahead and roll me another d8.
6.
Roll me a d100. Ask and
Oh,
you shall
boy.
receive.
I've rolled a 3 for the last however many weeks.
27. As the two of you are walking, you turn the corner through the market, and you suddenly find yourself amongst a lot of small businesses, cafeterias, what look like a couple small bars, and then an actual tailor and cobblery next to it. And as you're in front of one of these cafeterias, there's a number of adolescents that are hanging out near the cafeteria. And you, this big, not super brawny, but fit dragonborn, are making your way through, and this adolescent human, a young man, he looks like maybe he's 15 or 16, has hair that's pulled into a ponytail that hangs low over his shoulders. He, is leaning away from one of the tables, and he says, Hey you, can I talk to you?
Right. What can I do for you?
Over here, this way. And he, motions for you to follow him a couple feet away from the cafeteria.
I look back to Skolma, make sure she's following.
She's right behind you.
Yep. I keep an eye out very closely on this kid. Alright, what seems to be the problem?
Look, okay. Over there, you see by that table there, there's that blonde elf girl. And he points, and you do see there is she looks like the equivalent of human age of like a 15-year-old elf woman who is drinking something and having a conversation with another, what looks like a human woman.
Right.
Look, I just want you to walk up to her and, just make pretend, but just be annoying, harass her, and then I come in and I scare you off. What do you say?
Are you trying to win her heart? Is that what this is going on here?
I'm trying to impress her, okay? I'm trying to show that I can be, a rough and tumble, and this big old mean Marigard student comes up and is all raw. I can just, you know what I'm saying? Just work with me here.
I see what you're saying, but, son.
Yeah?
Be yourself and talk to her. Don't have to be all that.
Well, look, but wouldn't it be a better story if we said that I scared off this big scary dragonborn? I'll give you a gold.
Scary. I don't need the money.
Well, I'm sure you could be a big scary dragonborn. Look, I'm just asking you to pretend, to act.
There's a few things wrong with that. It'd paint me in a bad light. It'd paint the academy in a bad light that I go around harassing people. And let's say you do impress her, right? And she believes it. And then a month from now, she finds out you set up the whole thing, and she's angry, and she doesn't want to talk to you anymore for lying to her. Where does that get you?
It gets me 2 months in where I can maybe show her that I'm not that bad, huh?
Well, you could just show her from the start your intentions and that you're a good bloke, yeah?
Roll a persuasion.
18.
Roll me a perception.
20.
At some point, you don't know when, a smear of mustard has appeared on this individual's nose. You don't know when it happened. You only just noticed it now. The next thing, with that persuasion, the boy says, "Oh, God. But what if I say the wrong thing? I've blown it all. At least this gives me some time."
Right, so sometimes the wrong thing is the right thing. Your bumbles are as much as your rights. You are one person, and if she can't get through the wrongs, she doesn't need the rights. And before you go, wipe this off, and I kind of wipe the mustard off his nose.
He seems surprised, and he says, "How did that... thanks. Oh, okay.
Be yourself, man. Just be yourself."
Okay. All right. You see, he, steals himself, straightens his back, and walks up over the 30 feet to them. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Skolna, like, with her thumb, is pushing the last of, like, a sausage into her mouth that she's been eating, and she wipes the mustard off of her hands.
You are quite good, aren't you?
She smiles and nods, and then she holds out a hand, and in it is a napkin that has a sausage and a bun that's got, like, a fine ground mustard on it. She offers it with her eyebrows raised.
Sure, I'll take one. Thank you.
As you take it, you feel her gently push on the small of your back, and you hear her say, "We should go."
Right, yeah. And we head out.
With that 20 perception as you're leaving, you suddenly hear someone say, "Hey, where did I just said... Waiter!" You become aware that Skolna likely did not pay for that sausage. As you're leaving, Skolna mutters, "You're part of the crime, don't say anything." And you keep moving.
Right. Okay. Sure, let's go. I'll be an accomplice this time. Not again, though.
She, like, nods and says, of course not. Let's go."
We continue.
Okay. Hold on. I have to roll for... Oh, okay. The kid did okay.
Hey!
You rolled a 19. All right.
Hell yeah.
That might have circumstances later. That was your random encounter, was a kid wanting you to help him win over the hot chicken squid.
Hell yeah.
All right, you head down the roads, heading down the logging roads toward the main gate that leads out into the farms. As you do, let me go ahead and change the map. Actually, no, not yet. You're not there yet. Roll me a D100, please.
Okie dokie. And we got a 23.
Okay. As you head out of the main gate and out into the actual farmlands, the suns begin to hide behind dense clouds. And while it's not raining yet, it does look like it will rain soon, which is not super great for the investigative purposes that you are out here for. Rain, you know, is very good at hiding tracks and evidence. So, you are aware that Skolna is also likely aware of this as she begins to move a little quicker.
Right. We double time it then.
Okay. Roll me a investigation check as you search for the farm, the Jordan farmstead.
15.
With the instructions that Persh gave you and your ability to read fucking signs, the Jordan farmstead is not hard to find. And as you're making haste, you do see that there is a large farmhouse nestled about huge fields of wheat. And behind them, up on a raised... It's almost like an artificial hill of stones that are stacked up, and then atop it is a large windmill. You can see there are many carts that are near the windmill. Carts that are decidedly empty, which is really the concern here. As you can see, the carts that normally would be full of bags of flour from the outside and behind the mill, they are decidedly not full of bags of flour. And you see there is an old dwarven man who is working, kind of. He's kind of doing the posture where they're walking about trying to look like they're busy, but they're not. They're procrastinating. And this old dwarf is balding on the head and has a large, very thick gray beard. Beneath that, they seem to be wearing just workers' clothes, almost like an apron with long white sleeves that have clearly... They were pure white at one point, and now they have been stained by work and wash and weathering. They're nearly threadbare. And as you're approaching, he looks up and he says, "Hey there!"
Hello. We're here to do a search for anything left behind by the thieves.
Ah, it's a pleasure. I'm Cotter Jordan.
Dr. Jordan, it's a pleasure to meet you.
This be my farmstead, of course. I see you two are from the Mary Guard, eh?
That'd be right.
I'm glad the guards got to you quickly. We've been dealing with theft for a few weeks now, but only now it's gotten truly as bad as it ever has. Enough that I don't have anything to send into town.
Right. How much goes missing at a time?
Well, beforehand it had been a bag or two of flour. Only last night it was every single ounce of flour that we'd had milled. Even some
How
that was
much was
still
that?
in the mill. It was about 15 bags of flour.
And you heard nothing, huh?
Unfortunately, I sleep pretty heavy, and the mill makes an awful racket. You have to leave it turning all night. Like, let me show you. And he pulls the wooden brake out from the windmill, and it begins to turn. And even though it's just a light breeze, this windmill is like... It is
Yep.
a lot of noise.
Right. Alright, well, let us have a look around and we'll see what we can find.
I'll be here if you have any more questions. I'm sad to say I don't have much more information.
Right. When was the last time you looked out here before going to bed?
I do a round every night. Around...
After sunset?
yeah, about maybe 9 at night.
Right. Right, Skolna, and I'll turn to look to her. Would you like to split up and look, or...
She
Yeah,
nods.
that's probably better.
She nods and she points to the carts.
All
Like
right,
she points to herself and then to the carts.
Yeah, I'll let you at it.
And she deftly moves toward them.
And I'll go take a look around the mill.
Okay, roll me investigation.
18.
18. The windmill is old. And as I said before, it is artificially raised. And you see that on the front of it, it is this large, basically concrete ramp that leads up to the main entrance of the windmill. That is a wooden door that it can be propped open. And looks like it barely will close. Like you have to really slam it to get it to close. And as you go inside the windmill, you see that the large stone that the windmill turns, which sits across several bearings, it is busy happily turning and crushing more flour into the fine powder. As you're looking around, with an 18, you find a few things. You're not sure what is actually evidence and what is just here. You find several wooden, almost like dowels, the sort of things that you would expect to find in like a toy, like the axles of a toy. They seem to be very smoothly cut and flat on both ends. You find like 3 of them, and you don't know what they're for, or they don't look like they have anything to do with this mill. You also find a rusty, half-broken dagger in the corner. And then you find a pair of spectacles.
Rusty, broken dagger, and spectacles, glasses.
Yeah. They are round, with the top round edge cut off, as if they're half-moon spectacles. And the frames themselves appear to be made of some kind of bone.
Right, I keep those. I'll head out and see if Skolna has found anything.
By the carts, Skolna has found a couple things. She holds up to you as you're approaching a shoelace. It is half broken, as if maybe it was torn or caught on something, and it just broke in half. And this shoelace is not the sort of shoelace that you'd expect to find on like a leather worker's boot. It's too fine. It's too thin.
And I guess it's not weathered enough to have been here for a while.
Oh no, it looks fairly clean.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Skolna shakes her head.
Right. I found these glasses. There's some dowels. I don't know where these came from, but they clearly don't fit in that mill. And then this rusty dagger. Not sure if it...
Skolna looks at the dowels. Then she looks at you and she says, "How is the door?"
Terrible. Barely shuts. You'd have to put your whole body to shut it.
She shakes her head and she points at the dowels.
I...
When you clearly don't know what the fuck she's talking about, she frowns. She opens her own pack and she pulls out 2 wooden dowels. And she gestures for you to follow her.
I follow her.
She pulls the door nearly closed. And then she slides the 2 dowels underneath the door itself, between it and the stone. And the door closes easily as it rolls over the dowels.
Right. Yep, okay. Well, these glasses that have a bone frame on them, I feel like these are somewhat out of place here. Maybe ask the old man. And I'll go look for the old man.
Okay. He's still near, like, the fence that you first met him at. And he looks up and he says, "Did you find anything?"
You missing any glasses?
No, I'm not me. And he opens his jerkin that he's wearing and he pulls a pair of very square, very fine spectacles, and he says, "I just wear these for reading the fine prints and such. And I always keep mine on me."
Anybody else on the farm wear glasses, or just you?
Might be the missus. Let me go see if she's missing a pair. And he takes a look at the ones that you're holding, and he says, "They don't look like hers, but let me go see." And he goes into the farmhouse. It is a brief moment before he comes back out, and next to him is a halfling woman who looks maybe half his age. And he says, "Are these your glasses?" And she approaches and she says, "Good day to you."
Afternoon.
No, these aren't mine.
Great, that's all I needed. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you for helping us.
Hopefully we get to the bottom of this.
The dwarf looks to you and says, "So, what now then?"
And now we talk to another lead we have, now that we have these glasses and a better understanding of what happened.
The old man nods, and they basically thank you. They look concerned and hopeful.
Hopefully we get this wrapped up quickly. You have a wonderful day now.
You too. Thank you.
All right. How are you at interrogating, Skolna?
She smirks.
That's what I like to see. Let's go have us a word with the prisoner.
And you head back toward Farron.
Sure do.
As you do, when you head toward the main gate, that is where we are going to stop tonight's session.
Right. Okay. Back.
Alrighty.
Hopefully my dice will play nice next week.
They don't have to do that much better to prove better than this week. Goodness gracious.
You're not wrong. 2s and 3s out the ass. Oh.
I hope you had a good time.
Sure did. I can't wait to punch somebody.
We shall see if you need to. And to everyone who might be watching, we love you, and I can't wait to play with you again next week.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night.